Hello, ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
Nine Ru, low, low, low.
And folks, today we have a bit of a breakdown in communications here on the map of Bobor. Why do I see a mirror match here, Ryan?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Metalphase playing as Tartalek with Vanguard income. Right-hand side, RM34 playing Hermann Gore and Fauci Panzer Division with a flatline income. And, I don't know, I think maybe both sides broke in radio communication and are now accidentally attacking each other.
Gotcha. So you're saying what we've got here is a failure to communicate, and now they are accidentally having a crisis.
Yes, yeah, it's
Okay.
exactly what is happening.
So, Panzer's side, we are going to see some rather quick death here. Some of these early Loviches are just going to get taken out by the 233, so it's good to know that some of that equipment does work still at this period in the war. Meanwhile, though, actually, we have a super early forward off-map observer with the 100mm, which is kind of weird. I don't really feel like we see that very often.
No, we don't, but he's going to be dropping in pretty much perfectly. If you try to decide those flamethrower troops, we've got a bombing run coming in with that pretty heavily armed Focke-Wulf 190.
You watch your language.
He's going to rock his bombs.
Yep.
Oh no, there's this Messerschmitt trying to get him.
Yeah, it's when you have a little bit of an M&M action, it's a little weird sometimes, but yeah, for right now, it is that 190.
Yeah, I do like after the off-map's been dropped off north, he's doing that counter-attack with low fesses, but RM34 managed to make his way across the so-called bull shack and making some pretty good progress there. He was going to run into some other two-man flamethrowers.
Well, let's continue to kind of identify here. We don't see the Valkyries very often, but these warrior women are awfully hairy. Definitely a lot of mustaches going on there. And coming up against the Hungarian flame troops, well, I don't really see these guys making it to Valhalla anytime soon.
Oh. And yeah, it's this real fiery mess in that forest.
No, I didn't see the 410 go down, but we have another Focke-Wulf 190, and now another barrage coming in as well. So the bombing runs have been heavy and relatively continuous.
Yeah, this is definitely how you need to play Tartalek. Your ground game isn't exactly great, but you have decent air power, so just bombing everything to hell and back is a good rate even in the odds.
Indeed. But ironically enough, the guy with the Hermann Göring division, very, very little on the airplanes. Not too much going on there just yet.
Yeah, but definitely pretty good in NTA. He's already bringing out the Trini mill up north with a 20 mil like transporter, which is a lovely combination.
Indeed it is. And don't look now, but we actually have ourselves some mortar teams moving on in here.
Holy crap, actual artillery being used in a 1v1, I am shocked, Khan. Like, I'm actually shocked. It's even sarcasm.
It only is 3.5 minutes into the game, too. I mean, it's not even like it's phase C, and they're like, dude, we have nothing else. Send in the mortar teams.
That's to be really curious to see, like, some of these people's, or some of the people who play in the league, how much artillery they actually bring. Because I think for the most part, everyone just builds their deck with only off-map artillery.
But, like, especially if you're going to have maps like this, I'd want to have some sort of mortars because, and I almost would probably guarantee this, we're just setting up. Okay, so you're setting up in the central position, right where that Arkansas is and that 40 mil. Mark my words, there's going to be smoke on the eastern edge of these bridges. Now, maybe that first Lovich over here is not going to be able to take advantage of that friendly neighborhood smoke. But the one to the north, I can almost guarantee there's going to be smoke. He's going to push across. It'll be great.
Yeah. And yeah, really, all the plays really happening up north. The whole southern side of the map is pretty quiet for the most part, apart from the Lovest trying to cross the river. I mean, there's a perfectly good bridge just south, but I guess they want to go for a bit of a trim.
Well, you know, R&R is not what it used to be these days. R&R is like Russians and more Russians, really.
It makes you swim faster being shot at, I guess.
That's true. That's true. That's definitely the time I felt most like a duck, is when someone was firing at me. So
maybe you shouldn't wear a duck costume while swimming in a swamp.
You know, you think I'd learn after the first time, but every single time, I'm just on blinds to it. So, we are going to see RM34. His troops are going to slowly get overwhelmed here in this pocket, and looks at that middle finger that he's given to him. Well,
Oh.
actually, wait a second. I don't want to actually say this next sentence, but it looks like the finger on both sides is definitely fading here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do like his northern assault here from Metalphase. As they get across the river rather successfully here, and just getting into the tip of that northern forest.
Which is really quite surprising, but I think it's just been forced off because of that off map. And actually, I think it did take out that P4 as well.
Yep.
Metalphase, you are an excellent opportunity here. Actually, I'm not sure I said Metalphase, but RM34, dude, you have air power for a reason. Please use it.
Bringing in some T-34, some Stern Pioneers, and regular Pioneers of STG, so he's bringing in the heavy firepower infantry to try and turn things back. And definitely I think his armor of the T-34s will help out quite a bit. As right now, Metalphase's anti-tank is a single 40mm anti-tank gun.
Hey, say what you want to, though. That thing is surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. A little bit outgunned in this case.
Well, don't worry, there's another 40 mil coming in. Woohoo.
And another 40mm anti-aircraft gun. Really like that 40mm.
Yeah, you know what? I think they were like, you know what, guys, we have a ton of ammunition. We'll make an anti-aircraft gun out of it, too. That's cool. Another bombing run to the south. Pounds one of the P-Grens. Herman-Goring P-Grens over here. Now, one thing that I admit is minorly eluding me is we are seeing this diffusion of strength over here from Metalphase. I know he's trying to push in a couple different areas, but I think were I him, I would take those Loviches that he brought in to clean up RM34's push to push southeast, force them to try to come in around so you can maybe take that bridge where the Airsoft troop is crossing right now.
Yeah.
So, hold the line for the moment, as we are going to see, and that was a missed opportunity, as we are going to see, like, the scratch defense will be more than enough.
Got, the Airsats and whatnot onto the forest, but it's starting to get a little bit hit by artillery. It's mainly hitting the tank. But I know what you mean, because right now Metalphase at that southern, northern, central position didn't go too well. The actual centre's not going too bad, as he managed to get some of those Hungarian machine gun squads across the other side, and it's got a decentish foothold. But as we're seeing RM34 actually bringing in the armor support now, Metalphase is having a bit of a harder time.
Yeah, and for some reason, again, we're getting Golyos consistently here. Where's that mortar looking? Mortar's looking to kind of go and slow down this potential breakout.
Yeah. Oh no, a huge blob of infantry. What are we going to do about it? Let's just shoot it with a mortar. I would just stop infantry spam.
Exactly. Exactly. You put a scouting guy up there, by the way, which has more HP than many infantry squads, and a surprisingly beefy weapons loadout. We'll let them keep them in play. And yeah, you lose 15 points, 20 points right there, but that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and that's going to be stunning up. I do find it funny down south. We got this one Pack 38 here in a very weird position. He's got the barn blocking line of sight from the Hotchkiss tanks, but he's shooting across the river against more Hotchkiss tanks.
Well, I think right now we are going to see the Hotchkiss tanks coming in behind to kill the anti-tank gun, while the other Hotchkiss tanks are shooting at him too.
Bit embarrassing when you get flanked by a French tank.
Well, it took him a few years to get there, but it's the slow, quiet ones you never see coming.
Yeah.
And up to the north, you can see that Tartalek is trying to go and rock the Kasbah, or the Kasaba. Those recon kind of AP wannabes coming on in, which is kind of funny because I always feel they look almost like maybe like a kangaroo, where it's like, okay, we have a POS vehicle, let's put something on top of it. Might as well be an anti-tank rifle.
Yeah, it's definitely a vehicle that has a lot of soul in terms of its aesthetic design. You could really see they tried their hardest to make it a decent armored car.
You know, and I admire that kind of gumption, but at the same time, I wonder why the heck they did that.
They really needed anything they could get, but yeah. It's quite funny, a lot of the Axis countries had a pretty not great tank manufacturing. Kind of like a common trait.
What we're going to see down south, the Hotchkiss tank is trying to face off against a T-34, two T-34s, and this is one count I don't want to be down in.
I like how we have a French tank being used by Hungarians, being shot at by a Russian tank being used by Germans.
Yeah, there is a weird, I'm not even remotely close to symmetry on it, but it is quite strange.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, you have the ME-210 just chilling there. Call it in. Oh, yeah.
There you go. He's coming around.
I'm happy he's finally warming to the idea.
And to really get the kill.
That is unfortunate. I guess I always kind of assumed that whole penetration, it's a 140 pen, so a little surprised it was as lackluster there.
Same here. It's actually a pretty decent little anti-tank gun, but didn't get lucky this time. And yeah, I mean, right now Metal, he has that one flag advantage over RM. I mean, the incomes is never going to get too crazy between both, but I think Metalphase will definitely have less units in C-Phase, obviously, because thank God people take less units in C-Phase in terms of availability. So we'll see how we hold out in the longer game.
And that certainly is a worthwhile question. The 210 goes down after lingering over the front lines just a teensy bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if there's one thing we can kind of learn here, it's basically that RM is trying to kill the metal. But right now, it looks like he's kind of failing to do so, and is getting ground down into the dust.
Yeah, oh, we got a huge off-map up north here, completely battering that hill, and there's not going to be much hill left for Metalphase to take after, that is. But having the flag is just about having the flag.
Certainly it's quite surprising when he nukes his own territory, but I guess it works. Mm-hmm. Ooh. An FK-280. I don't think I've actually ever seen an FK-280 being used by anyone. Down to the south, as we see another set of bombing runs, which continue just to dominate this entire approach here.
Holy crap, that is some pretty good ground support, yeah.
Yeah, I continue to be surprised that there's been such minimal, let's say, airplane investment from Hermann Göring.
Mm-hmm.
Would have really thought that they would have had some kind of strafing or more consistent air cover. You can see right now with the ME-410B1, but that's not going to be able to do a whole lot.
No, he's more focused on the armor game right now, which honestly I don't blame him, because Tartalek, they are very much lackluster. Trying to make strafing runs, but the NCA, even though it's just 220 mils, is not going to be satisfactory for that 210. Map flying up north again, with its devilish eyes of high explosive firepower.
Well, I'm mildly amused by the fact that the Sturm Pioneers behind, they're trying to take on this 40 mil.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like getting grassed on by both sides. Part of it by Ersatstruppen, part of it by the Sturm Pioneers. I don't know. And in the meantime, still, with P4G, who's just going to get nailed from every which way.
Yeah, all those 40 mils are just slowly pounding him, and down he goes. And RM, he's doing a good job in keeping that ballsack position under somewhat his control. He's got the flag, which is the important part, yeah.
That's true. If you don't have a flag, it doesn't. You don't own it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's one lone Arcoslux and on top of this hilltop, and other than that, everything else is being pounded into the dust.
Yeah, I think RM has a pretty good shot if he was to do a southern aggression push to actually nick a bit of territory and really turn Metalphase on his face. Because as you see right now, that Pioneer squad just down south is holding that flag, and he's nowhere even near it. It's just how little reinforcements Metalphase has down south. So he is finally bringing in some actual reinforcements here, but only 3 squads of Veloveses.
Yeah, but at the same time, those guys. Oh no, wait, he said a couple of Goyos. Oh no, they're going back to the south.
Yeah,
To the north, rather, excuse me. Trying to keep a long, kind of a weather eye out here. We're going to see one of these flags is going to trip the other direction. Here's 3 more Loviches at the same time too. So, but man, these Flocka Wolves have been more than enough. I feel like
410. Even when he gets a bloody time to shoot, it's not a great fighter plane. Let's put it. Yeah.
No, it is not. Which is, again, one of those moments when you're like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense historically, but it does, but it doesn't. It's this whole...
It's more like a... I was about to say it's a night fighter, but it's not a night fighter run. It's just one of those twin engine fighters, which are really slow and not that good in SD2. Really want those fast and nimble planes. Up north, we got more bombing runs, and I think we've got more bloody artillery going to be dropped in.
I admit I was watching to the south as we saw these 40 mils that are pretty much always on this riverbank, engaging tanks caught in the middle between them. We see right now it's going to be a 15-9 here, just about, I guess, 20 or 30 seconds, as this last Hermit-going Pioneer is going to get retired permanently, shall we say.
Yeah, and definitely not at his discretion. Forceful retirement.
Well, it's a bit of a buyout policy, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Interesting. There's some really, really tight sight lines going on here. Regrettably...
Oh, yeah.
Not always for the positive. Like this SDK have said, Mark 10 that just got dinged.
That was... Yeah, all through those buildings and whatnot, that is... quite tight. It always surprises you sometimes, just how you can get line of sight on stuff. Because all those buildings, they all have, collision, which you have to shoot through. When you're zoomed out so far, it's kind of hard to tell the difference.
And just like that, flag flips the other direction. Looks like it's going to be 15-9.
Yeah.
No, just a shade too long. That sure Pioneer coming on in to kind of make sure things stay the way that they are.
Yeah, RM Southern Puss did not exactly go well. He had the opportunity, but it's really gone now as we have the huge infantry reinforcements being brought in to shore up the southern banks.
The one thing that is a little bit surprising to me is that we're not going to see any kind of attempt to keep this poor 40 mil in play. Oh, never mind. Wow. So where did that barrage come from? But outside of that 14-10, 15-9, RM34 needs to make sure he can pull something out of his hat here. But he's got another 30 seconds to go before he gets that minor econ advantage.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit more aggression through the ballsack area, but really, it's not going to be enough. I feel like right now, his forces are, like, his pushes are a bit scattered. Like, he's not trying to make one concentrated push in one area. And on other maps, you can get away with that, But on a map like Bobble, especially 20 minutes into the match, you really just need to spearhead across one bloody bridge and just try and take it that way, because just kind of it gets way too hard to push over these bridge choke points.
And yet he'll find a way.
Focke-Wulf's just coming in, just fantastic use of air power here from Tartalek. Nice thing about the Focke-Wulf bombers, once I drop the bombs, they're actually pretty decent fighter planes. So you got, you know, 2 for 1.
True, but I guess to a certain extent, I think I'd be rather annoyed if after you dropped the bombs, they became a worse fighter plane. So
Drop your bombs, we're going slower now. That doesn't make logical sense. Oh, we picked up some along the way.
Gremlins from the Kremlin.
Yeah. And especially when you got the guys shooting speed hose into you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It decreased that wind resistance, you know? The friction points.
You lose a lot of rate, especially when you lose, like, an entire ring.
Well, I think back to the whole idea that this one guy had the scenario of trying to put armor on, I think it was a B-25s or B-26s, and it was like, oh, yes, well, we're going to put it where we're going to come back with holes.
Yeah, it's the B-17 thing, I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like, wait a second, we're only seeing the planes that come back. It's like, yeah, duh. But it's kind of weird to me that that was something that had to be said by somebody else. And then I think, oh, wait, never mind, government contracting. And all the world makes sense. I apologize if your viewership out there does government contracting, but if you're in government contracting, you understand exactly what that means. Now, still have a couple T-22s coming to the south. Kind of try to do some minor support fire, maybe pushing back some of these Loviches, but going to be a bit of a tall order. I think hell's going to freeze over before they can successfully push them back.
Yeah, we've finally seen a Flak 88 down south, some pretty heavy-duty anti-air, and that's going to be enough to keep Focke-Wulf at bay. Will it get the kill? Maybe, hopefully.
I say unlikely. He's not even smoking yet.
No.
Yowza, where the heck is that huge firepower coming from the north? What the heck is that? Not the stroke. Oh, it's a stroke. I don't see any FAO.
Oh, that's the Hungarian flying FAO. It's a little biplane they have, which drops in Road War 1 siege artillery.
I didn't even see it come in.
It's very sneaky.
Well, clearly. I'm actually also fascinated to watch this Sturmtiger to the north.
Oh yeah, they have it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty good unit in trying to take back that hillside, yeah. As you can just pound those anti-tank guns, but he doesn't really have much else to really support the Sturmtiger.
No, we got a P4, but big stinking deal there. I imagine the P4 is going to come forward and get shot almost instantly by a Pac 40.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the 25-pounder down to the south, he is giving some supporting fire here. It isn't the most impressive, but it still is certainly worthwhile. And more of those CSABAs, the 39Ms, being brought on in, not going to a ton necessarily.
Just a bit of cheap fire support.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I do like how he up north he has his Gola who's chasing down the commander. So close and getting the kill, but not gonna see it because RM34 surrenders, and honestly, I don't blame him.
Neither do I. Well, anybody who has a Poland ball, you know.
I like how both of them have American flag-esque icons.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, from McKill's perspective, got one, flak gun that took out 2 airplanes. A couple of small things here and there, but not really anything to talk about.
Yeah.
Marco, that was one of the strafing bombing planes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry and another plane indeed. But I guess when it comes right down to it, it was just better trading, better pizza. You know.
Pretty much. It's just very good early game aggression from Tartalek. Even though Tartalek is not the best division per se. On a map like Cat, where it's all just infantry fights for the most part, an infantry spam division with good air power really wins the day. And he used mortars.
Exactly. Exactly. Guys use mortars. Gals use mortars. Everyone use mortars. There's a reason that they're there. But with that Pearl of Wisdom dispatched, any final thoughts there, sir?
None today.
Well, folks, maybe if you come back in a couple days from now on Saturday, Frank's going to have some more thoughts for you. But for right now, I'm Connell Work.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.